over the telephone by His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. It's a very good afternoon to you, Mr. Ambassador.
Good afternoon.
Fine, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Ambassador, today President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received his Rwandan counterpart, President Paul Kagame, who is currently visiting Egypt. A very important summit was held between the two leaders and a press conference ensued. And we saw the President and the two leaders speaking about the importance of Egyptian-Rwandan relations. Could you tell us a bit more about the ties between the two countries, sir?
Of course, all the relations as old as the River Nile itself, because both are countries on the River Nile base. But recently we witnessed the independence of Rwanda and Burundi was one country, one kingdom, and the king of the top of that country, Rwanda already, came to the first African Summit in 1964. And since then we opened the embassy there. Afterwards, they were divided in two countries because they are two tribes, Hutu and Watusi. So, and we recognize both countries, that we are in a very good relation with both countries.
Yes.
Recently, also, we have a very active relation through the Egyptian Fund for Development in Africa. Now it is an agency for investment, and we are trying to enlarge the capital for this agency. And with our presence there is very good. We need to increase it. We need to come to the investment side also, because it's not enough trade. Trade is not it's going well, but it's not as good as we want. We wish also to enter the field of investment in order to be able to get whatever we need from African commodities. Also, education. Many of Rwanda are learning in Egypt. Some of them are in Al-Azhar University also. And the good thing lately is the personal relations between our communities and his counterparts in Africa. Since Egypt became the seat of presidency in 2019.
Indeed.
So we are calling for more investment in Africa in order to make trade as good as we used.
Yes, indeed. As you mentioned, Mr. Ambassador, the President said that the two countries are aiming to boost bilateral relations, as you mentioned as well, economic cooperation, affirming, the consensus between the two countries to promote trade relations and support economic partnership. And we saw the Rwandan President speaking about how, African nations realize the importance of furthering these ties, especially during the coronavirus pandemic. How do you see, African relations between the African nations extending and further developing, especially post-coronavirus pandemic?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we are fighting against several problems here. The corona was one big headache, whether from the health side or from the economic negative impact following the corona. Now also we are facing the problem with the war between Russia and Ukraine. And this is a big headache here. We have to prepare ourselves in order to keep standing alive. And the good thing that Egypt has a very good experience in all these matters.
Yes.
And I am happy that we are exchanging experience with all our dear brothers and friends in Africa. And I am quite sure that such important subject is discussed during the meetings and the negotiations between the two presidents.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Ambassador, also we saw President el-Sisi confirming that talks tackled the latest regarding the Renaissance Dam negotiations, as of course Egypt rejects any unilateral measure that will harm Egyptian people. And of course Rwanda is also a Nile Basin country. How important are the ties between Egypt and Rwanda with the Rwandan President's support to Egypt's stance on the Renaissance Dam?
I am happy really with the Egyptian diplomacy dealing with this very important matter for all the Egyptians. because I think that Egypt is quite convinced that at the end of the day, we can win this case. And we will continue this soft diplomacy, and we shall continue also asking our good friends to be a good arbitrator here and to convince our neighbors in Ethiopia to come to a deal where every side can gain from it. Because confrontation is not the word in our world. And we hope to restore good relations with Ethiopia and to convince them that it is good for them to produce electricity, and we shall buy the electricity because Egypt became now a center for trade in energy, generally, especially electricity and gas, and I hope that they will be convinced to come to reason for this. And I admire that our business is very soft and long-based policy, and at the end of the day, we can be satisfied, inshallah.
Indeed. Mr. Ambassador, of course, we also saw President Sisi speaking about the upcoming COP27 climate conference, which Egypt is hosting in November in the Red Sea resort city of Sharm el-Sheikh, and he stressed Egypt's keenness on advocating the aspirations of African countries and, of course, the damage that is incurred by African countries as a result of climate change. How important was that part of the discussion, sir?
This is very important because it's the first time that a third world country shall host a very important event like that. And I see that Egypt is preparing itself for good management of this conference. Because we are, as a third world partner, are in a very delicate situation. Those who are practicing things against the environment are the big part of the world. The big industrial countries are not keeping good policies for environment.
Yes.
I am naming here the United States, Europe, China. All of them are not keeping good conditionality or good conditions concerning our environment. We have to work on this and to come to a satisfactory policy to make our environment less 1 degree at least, in order to protect our coasts, because our coasts now are invaded by the water and we are losing land because of the bad practices of industry in the developed countries.
Yes, indeed. I'd like to thank you very, very much, Your Excellency, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, the former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and for your insight on today's edition of Cairo Local Time. And continuing with our news, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi met on Friday with Jordan's King Abdullah II, Abu Dhabi's Crown Prince Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and Iraq's Prime Minister Mustafa Kadhimi in the Jordanian port city of Aqaba to exchange views on international and regional, as well as political and economic issues of mutual